Imagine a world where power isn't dictated by governments or corporations, but by fear cultivated by one woman who rose from the gritty streets of Colombia to command an empire fueled by violence and billions of dollars in illicit wealth. Meet Griselda Blanco, the woman who inspired the phrase, Queenpin, and who didn't just break the glass ceiling of the underworld, but shattered it in a hailstorm of bullets. Tonight, we dive into the twisted legacy of a figure so infamous that her very name strikes terror across continents. Welcome to the Fear Lab. Stay tuned as we unravel the chilling rise and bloody downfall of the Godmother of Cocaine. But first, let us take you back to where it all began. Griselda Blanco was born on February 15, 1943, in Cartagena, Colombia, a coastal city known for its beauty, but marred by poverty. At just 3 years old, Griselda and her mother, Ana Restrepo, moved to Medellin. This wasn't the Medellin of postcard landscapes. It was the Medellin of grinding poverty, violence, and crime. For Griselda, this was the crucible that forged her future. Even as a child, her potential for violence showed terrifying promise. A chilling anecdote from her youth reveals how, at the tender age of 11, she kidnapped a boy from an affluent neighborhood, attempted to ransom him, and when negotiations faltered, killed him without hesitation. This was no ordinary child. Griselda was born into darkness and would grow to master it. Her teenage years were a blur of petty theft and survival. Running away from home at 19 to escape abuse, Griselda plunged headfirst into the criminal underworld, cutting her teeth on the dangerous streets of Medellin. But what was it about her that made her not just a survivor, but a conqueror of this brutal realm? It wasn't long before Griselda found her calling, drugs. By her early 20s, she was already dealing marijuana, but it wasn't enough. She wanted more power, more money, and more fear, and she would stop at nothing to get it. Griselda's real rise began when she met her second husband, Alberto Bravo, in the 1960s. Together, they expanded their empire from marijuana to cocaine. But unlike most dealers, Griselda had vision. She saw the United States not as a distant market, but as a goldmine waiting to be exploited. In 1975, Griselda and Alberto fled to Colombia to escape federal drug charges in New York. Their partnership, however, was short-lived. When Griselda accused Bravo of stealing millions, the fallout was deadly. In a dramatic confrontation in a Bogotá nightclub, Griselda shot Alberto dead, taking full control of their operation. From that moment, she wasn't just a player in the game, she was the queen. Griselda's empire exploded during the 1980s Miami drug wars, a period of chaos marked by blood-soaked streets and astronomical cocaine profits. At its peak, her network smuggled tons of cocaine into the U.S., earning an estimated $80 million per month. But her success wasn't just about drugs, it was about fear. Griselda enforced her will with ruthless efficiency, ordering hits with chilling precision. Her methods were brutal. She's credited with introducing the concept of the motorcycle drive by shooting a tactic that left Miami law enforcement scrambling. This wasn't just business. For Griselda, it was personal. Disloyalty was met with death, and rivals were eliminated in waves. By the 1980s, Griselda's reputation as the Godmother of Cocaine was cemented. But even the most powerful empires aren't invincible. In 1985, the DEA arrested Griselda in her California home. She was charged with federal drug conspiracy and sentenced to 15 years in prison. While serving time, she faced additional charges, including 3 counts of first-degree murder. Yet, even behind bars, Griselda remained a force to be reckoned with. Witnesses disappeared, cases crumbled, and she continued to operate her empire from prison. But her reign wasn't eternal. In 2004, a frail and aging Griselda was deported back to Colombia. Some say she had turned over a new leaf, embracing Christianity. Others believe she was merely biding her time. Griselda Blanco's life reads like a crime thriller, but let's pause for a moment. What do you think drove her to such extremes? Was it her traumatic upbringing, the allure of power, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments below. Your thoughts could shape our next episode. Here's another question. If you were a law enforcement officer during the Miami drug wars, how would you have tried to take down someone like Griselda? With her extensive network, her ruthless tactics, and her deep pockets, she seemed almost untouchable. And what about morality? Do you think Griselda was a product of her environment? Or was she inherently evil? Was there ever a chance for redemption? Or was her path set from the start? We want to hear your take. While you're typing away, don't forget to hit that like button if you're fascinated by true crime stories like this one. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Fear Lab for your daily dose of chilling tales. Griselda Blanco's story ended as violently as it began. On September 3, 2012, she was gunned down outside a butcher shop in Medellin and shot twice in the head by an assassin on a motorcycle. The irony? It was the same method she popularized during her reign of terror in Miami. Her life was a cycle of violence, and in the end, it caught up to her. But her legacy remains. From documentaries to books, and even her son's clothing brand, Griselda Blanco continues to fascinate and terrify us in equal measure. So, what does her story teach us? Is it a warning about the perils of ambition without conscience? Or a glimpse into a world where the rules of morality are suspended? If you found this story as gripping as we did, give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends who love true crime. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts on Griselda's rise and fall. And most importantly, subscribe to the Fear Lab for more stories that delve into the darkest corners of human behavior. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and as always, beware the shadows.